was a little princess. This little princess lived in a land where her father ruled. He ruled because he was the king. This land wasn't always as big as it is today. When the father of the king and his father ruled over the land, they took other countries and simply added those to their own country. Now, after they had been stealing the land of other countries, the king has mountains, forests, lakes, a sea, and all the raw materials that he needs to be the richest king in the world. So the king, the father of the little princess, doesn't have that much time to spend with his princess. He has to be important all day long when he is ruling his land. The queen, the mother of the little princess, doesn't have much time for the little princess either. She is important too. She has to drink tea with less important ladies, so they will keep doing what the queen wants them to do. The queen needs also a lot of time to relax and be sure that she will keep her beauty. If she loses her beauty, the king will look for another queen and will leave her in poverty. So it takes a lot of time for the queen to keep in shape and on her throne. The little princess has always had many nannies in her life, and she doesn't know what a life with a normal mother and father would be like. Her nannies come and go, because when the king doesn't like one, he fires them immediately. This time she has a new nanny, and she is different from all the others. The little princess sees her as if she is a fairy. When the little princess isn't happy with the new law her father the king made, this nanny doesn't punish her so that she will look good in the eyes of the king. No, this nanny asks her what it is that makes her unhappy within the new law. She tells the little princess that it isn't enough to just be angry on her father for doing these things. She has to look inside herself why she's angry and on who she is angry, so the little princess can do something about it. Her nanny told her that when she is really honest with herself, she will find all the answers. You see, the little princess wants the people of the land, the father, the king, to be happy and without fearing the king, because that's also what she wants for herself. The little princess doesn't understand why she can have happiness and all the people in the land can't. The king had already noticed that the little princess has this kind of stubbornness and that she wants to be good for the people. The king knows for sure that this is a genetical inheritance of the queen, this stubbornness. But what can he do? He made the mistake already by marrying the queen in the first place and then have a child with her without checking her genetics. So this issue is consuming the king. But he decided that he can change this nasty characteristic of his only child. He spent a lot of money on nannies, private teachers and psychologists. And according to the king, his little princess will be ready to rule his land when time comes. In the meanwhile, the little princess has developed a typical behavior whenever she is around the king, to not alarm him and send her away to never come back again. As long as she pretends to be his little princess, she will be the reflection of the picture the king has in his own mind of her. That's the safest way to survive, and once she's able to rule the land, she will make things different. One of those days when she was eavesdropping at the king's meeting room door, she accidentally overheard them talking about raising the taxes on wheat and corn, easing some laws so his own kingly corporation was allowed to pollute without consequences. Then she heard her father say that he was thinking about making a law so that he would always be inviolable. This wasn't the first time she heard her father talk about laws and rules that only benefits him and indirectly her. It made her angry. She wanted to plunge into the room and tell him the truth. Of course she didn't. She and her nanny had been working on a whole new system for the land. Very soon she was going incognito into the city nearby the castle and speak to normal people about the situation and see if the people are already ready for her new plans and changes. It was only a month before the little princess was going to turn 18, and legally spoken she was able to claim on the throne. Her father, the king, wasn't yet ready to give up his power, so it looked like she had still to wait many, many more years. At this point in her life, she was much more calm and had more trust within herself. She knew that when the day would come, she would be more than ready. In the meanwhile, the king had sent out a notice that every young prince in the world was allowed to come to this land and take the test to be the chosen one to marry his daughter. He wanted a son-in-law that understood the rules of profit, that understood that the people of the king's land were only there to work and make profit for the kingdom, and he wasn't allowed to feel sorry for the people, like his daughter had done when she was still very young. Of course, a DNA check and a fingerprint was the normal procedure. The little princess felt like running away, because she didn't want to spend her life with such a man. As a matter of fact, there wasn't at all room for a man in her life to be romantic and silly with. While her mother, the queen, was struggling for her life in hospital after the 45th plastic surgery, a superbug had found its way into the hospital and into the body of the queen. All the doctors were desperate. The antibiotics didn't work, the vaccines didn't help, and all kinds of pills made the queen only more sick than she already was. The little princess was day and night with her mother and saw that this was the end, and Big Pharma had messed up big time. She didn't want her mother, the queen, to die, even though she didn't really knew her. The little princess knew that a lot of people of her land and in the world had been the victim of this scam. That night her mother died, and she promised herself to reform healthcare once she was in power. Unexpectedly, the king wasn't mourning in a normal way after the queen had passed away. It was as if he was completely possessed by it. Within one night all his hair turned grey, and there was only one word that came out of his mouth, the name of the queen. Within a week he died of a heart attack, and suddenly the little princess, now 18, was an orphan. She immediately stopped the search for a prince and announced reforming to the people. She promised the people that within the coming years drastic changes were to be taken and that they had to trust themselves to be strong and change their land into heaven on earth. All laws of the father, the king, that were made out of self-interest and not in the best interest of all, were immediately abolished. Within the coming years, the little princess established, together with her nanny and a board of people from throughout the land, a new economical system, the equal money system. They used all structures within society that were still good and introduced a basic income for every inhabitant from birth to death. They installed a labor system, and every person had to commit 4 years of their lives to work in the greater interest of the land and to keep the system running. Making profit and acting out of greed or self-interest were now enough to take you out of the system and be placed into a reforming program, to be reprogrammed to work together in the best interest of all. The people of the land were grateful for having access to free education, healthcare, transportation, and everybody was able to buy food, clothes, and had a roof above their heads. Taking your own responsibility became normal, and the little princess, her castle, was now a home for the elderly, daycare for toddlers, and an institute to come together for those who study their eye process. And they all lived happily after ever.